one.
I still don't know why we said yes. Maybe it was the thrill, or maybe we just didn't want to look scared in front of each other. It was Halloween night. The air smelled like smoke and candy, and the streetlights buzzed faintly above us. Me, Tasha, and Leo stood at the end of Hollow Street, staring at the old Winslow house, the one everyone said was haunted. 10 minutes inside, Tasha said, trying to sound casual, "Winner gets free candy for a week." Leo laughed, but his voice cracked a little. I didn't even try to hide that I was nervous. The house looked like it was leaning toward us. Dark windows, flaking paint, a broken fence that groaned in the wind. We pushed through the gate. The hinges screeched like an animal. The front door wasn't locked, just swollen with age, and when it finally opened, a gust of air rushed out, thick with dust and something else. Old wood, maybe, or mold. We stepped inside. It was colder than it should have been. The floorboards bent slightly under our shoes. Flashlight beams danced across cracked picture frames and piles of newspapers. Then we heard it, a slow, rhythmic tapping from upstairs. Leo froze. "It's probably just wind," he said, but his light was shaking. We moved toward the staircase anyway. The sound stopped. Then came a faint thud, like someone dropping something heavy. Halfway up, Tasha whispered, "You hear that breathing?" I listened. She was right. There was a low, uneven breath coming from one of the rooms. We edged closer, hearts pounding. I pushed the door open. Inside was an old party room. Faded streamers hanging from the ceiling, a few broken chairs. On the table sat a small birthday cake, completely collapsed with age. Around it were a few toys, their paint long chipped away. And next to the cake, a note, folded neatly. "For Jamie. Happy Halloween." I stared at it. My name, in handwriting I didn't recognize. Tasha muttered, "Did you tell anyone we were coming here?" I shook my head. The sound of breathing grew louder, too close now. Leo turned toward the hallway, his flashlight beam cutting through the dark, and caught the glint of something moving just around the corner. We didn't wait. We bolted down the stairs and out the front door so fast we nearly tore it off the hinges. When we reached the street, we stopped, gasping. The house was dark again. No movement, no sound. I still don't know who left that note, or how they knew my name. But every Halloween since, I swear I see a faint light flicker in that window again. And that's enough to keep me from ever going back.
Story 2.
Halloween night had that electric kind of chill, the one that makes every sound sharper and every shadow seem alive. There were 6 of us that night. Me, Grace, Liam, Tessa, Jordan, and Kayla. We'd been together since middle school, and every Halloween we went to the town fair before hitting the neighborhood trick-or-treat circuit. This year felt special. The fair was bigger, the lights brighter, the crowd louder. We ran through the haunted house, took pictures by the giant pumpkin, and grabbed hot cider near the stage. It was just a normal night, until we met him. He said his name was Elijah. He was standing alone near the costume contest area, holding a broken glow stick. Hoodie up, face half painted white, like he couldn't decide what he was dressed as. "Hey man," Jordan called out. "You alone?" He nodded, said his friends ditched him. So we let him tag along. He didn't talk much, just laughed when we did, stayed close, followed the group. But there was something about him. Not bad, just off. His timing was weird, like he always knew what we were about to say. When Tessa joked about the haunted maze being lame, he smiled and said quietly, "They changed it this year. The last room isn't fake anymore." We laughed it off until we got there. The maze had closed early. Police tape was up. We didn't ask how he knew. Later, when the fair lights dimmed and the crowd thinned, we decided to walk home together. Eli followed like he'd always been one of us. But when we reached the main road, he stopped. "This isn't my way," he said. Grace asked where he lived. He pointed vaguely toward the woods. "Down there." We all stared. No houses, no lights. Just trees. Kayla frowned. "That's just the forest." He smiled, a small, almost sad smile. "It used to be." And before we could say anything else, he turned and walked into the dark. No flashlight, no phone light. Just gone. We thought maybe he was messing with us, so we laughed it off. But when we looked through our photos later that night, he wasn't in any of them. Not one. Even the ones we took with him standing right next to us. Liam swore he saw him in the background of a video, but when we replayed it, there was nothing there. Only a flicker of static when the camera panned past the woods. The next morning, Grace checked the local news. There was an old headline from Halloween night 5 years ago. Teen found dead after fair accident. Identified as Elijah Moore, 15. We stopped going to the fair after that. But sometimes, when we pass the woods on Halloween night, there's a faint glow between the trees, like a broken glow stick pulsing in the dark.
Story 3.
It was 3 days before Halloween, and the costume shop on Main Street had finally reopened for the season. It was one of those places that only showed up once a year. Spirit Town, Costume World, whatever name they threw on the banner that season. You'd walk in, and it smelled like latex masks and fake fog. I worked there part-time after school with Jake and Naomi, mostly stocking shelves and helping kids find cheap vampire teeth. That Tuesday, our manager unlocked the door and frowned. The front window display had changed overnight. There was a new mannequin standing right in the center, tall, pale, dressed in an old-fashioned black suit and pumpkin-patterned tie. No one remembered putting it there. "New shipment?" Jake asked. The manager checked the clipboard. Nothing. No deliveries. No new stock. We joked about it. Halloween prank, maybe. The shop next door loved doing that kind of thing. But when we tried to move it, it wouldn't budge. It felt warm. Naomi said it was just from the sunlight. That night, as we were closing, I noticed something strange. The mannequin's head was slightly turned. It had been facing the window all day, but now it was tilted toward the counter. I laughed it off, grabbed my bag, and left. The next day, the store was packed with people. Kids trying on costumes, parents yelling about prices. It wasn't until around noon that Jake froze and pointed at the window. The mannequin was wearing something different. A red hoodie, jeans, sneakers, clothes that looked real. Naomi squinted. "That's weird. That looks like what I wore yesterday." We stared at each other. She wasn't wrong, down to the ripped knee in the jeans. The manager said it was just a coincidence. Someone must have redressed it overnight. But she couldn't find the old outfit anywhere. That evening, I stayed late to restock. The lights flickered once, then went dim. Motion sensor stuff. Nothing new. I looked toward the window. The mannequin wasn't there. I froze. I turned toward the aisles and saw it standing halfway down the mask section, facing the row of plastic faces. My chest tightened. I took one step back, and the air in the store felt heavier. Then, in the faint reflection of the glass, I realized something I hadn't noticed before. It didn't have eyes. Just faint indents where eyes should have been, and they were glowing faintly orange, like candlelight flickering behind them. I ran. When I came in the next morning, police tape was up. The manager's car was still in the lot, but she wasn't there. Neither was the mannequin. The window was empty again, except for a handwritten sign taped to the glass. Opening soon, new models arriving. It's Halloween week again now, and the store's back open. Same banner, different name. I walked by this morning. In the window was a new mannequin, wearing Naomi's old hoodie, and it's facing the street. But the reflection in the glass, it's looking straight at me.